What is up, guys? Welcome on back to TK's Garage. And Jeanine Pirro, somebody I haven't talked about in a long time. She left Fox News and went back to be the district attorney or the U.S. attorney for the area of the District of Columbia. I want to say the state or the province, but it's the area of District of Columbia, because D.C. is literally just a city. It's not a state. It's not a county. It's not any of that. But anyways, so she went back to work there and has been doing some things that the administrator wanted to see. Well, they just busted a large car theft ring, and something that I've been talking about like crazy, which you guys said was all BS and it's not true. They just admitted people are stealing cars. Yes, some of them are using the Altel systems, but people are stealing cars with basically an Android phone in 60 seconds and hauling ass. And it's not just Mopar. It's not just Dodge. As they said, Camaros, Corvettes, Range Rovers, all of that. We're going to talk about all that and more right after this. Guys, before we get into today's video, got to talk about the giveaway that's going on the channel. Our extra entries on the 1969 Dodge Charger Hellcat are all but sold out. I believe when I recorded the video last night, we had 3. There's 2 available remaining. They're going to be gone at some point today. And here's the thing, if they aren't gone by midnight tonight, we're just going to close them out anyway. It's going to close out the extra entries no matter what. After midnight Pacific time this evening. So if you want to get in on anything that's up on the website, the 69 or the 70 Chargers, now's the time to do it. Go over to tk'sgarage.bigcartel.com. Link will be in the description down below while you can, because after that, everything goes down to $1 for one entry and drastically reduces the ability for you to have more entries to win. So there's that. Anyways, link in the description down below. So, Judge Jeanine Pirro is now the U.S. attorney there in D.C., and they have cracked down on car theft, crime. I mean, D.C. is a totally different area from when I lived up there and I was going back and forth to Fort Meade every day. And just seeing where it's at now, and I got to go through this city not too long ago, and I was just like, damn. There was areas that you knew that you shouldn't be in, but now it's like you see people out walking their dogs, all kinds of stuff, right? So they really kind of flipped DC into a more safe city. Call it what you want, okay? I see the announcement after I get done doing my videos yesterday about gone in 60 seconds. And we're not talking about the movie here. I've done multiple videos here on this channel before we were more news and leak based, showing you how easy it is with repeater boxes, key programmers, all of that, how easy these cars are being able to be stolen today. Now, I do have a video coming up here in the near future where some of these striker boys, if that's what you want to call them, from Michigan, literally sent me this thing and explained to me how it worked, and I tried it on all of my BMWs, and it works, and it scares the shit out of me. So I literally now have not just an extra kill switch, and if you know anything about BMWs, you don't it's not good to disconnect the battery from the car, because you have to reprogram the battery then every friggin' time. But I'm trying to find another way. And I've installed another switch now that just literally, you can hit the button, but the starter won't come on. I have to literally open the hood of the car, do something so that the car will start. And I'll tell you why I'm doing that on all my BMWs, because it's that easy to steal them. These devices, and it's not just, and I get what you're going to say, oh, why do they have, because Judge Jeanine's talking about the Altel devices, right? The little scan tools that you can having an attachment. You sit a key down on it, program the key, and you drive away. Or you plug the Autel in and you make the car think that there's a key present. You can start it, drive away, program a key later. I know all the different aspects to what they do to steal these cars. We've covered it in detail. My guys over at destroyer1320.com do all kinds of anti-theft, kill switches, plates, all kinds of stuff for Mopar products. If you have a Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, or Ram, I highly recommend you go over to their website. But what I found interesting here is they mentioned it, which means she got a demonstration. Somebody showed her. The same way I've gone to different law enforcement agencies all over the country and showed them, like, look, this is an Android phone. This Android phone has a custom, what they call a custom ROM on it. It's not a normal phone, right? You can dual boot. This is how these scumbags do this, though, right? They have an older Android phone that you can dual boot, meaning you can boot a regular operating system in, make a phone call. It looks just like a phone. And then you can go into the recovery and then boot into the hardware shit where you can program or start a car or program a key. Get what I'm saying? And they use these Bluetooth dongles because you don't even need a cable. So now you just have a dongle. You're not carrying it. You have a cell phone and a dongle in your pocket. You're not carrying any car theft tools. It's not difficult, right? Get in, bloop. Oh, and the new thing, like the thing that scares me about the BMW is, yeah, they have the ability for you to just walk up and touchless open the door on your car with no key. And your key could be in a Faraday bag. It doesn't matter. It's not using your key to access that system. So I've turned that shit off on all my BMWs. The touchless control, like to touch the door and open, yeah, I turned all that shit off. Because now I see how easy it is for them to steal them. And once they're in the car and they plug in the ODB, it's over. It's over. OBD. Did I say ODB? Damn it. Old dirty bastard. Anyway, basically, the way that these cars are being stolen now, I almost feel like the manufacturers need to get sued because they make it that easy. They're not locking down the software. It's not like Samsung puts knocks on their Android phones, right? Or, corporate shit on their phones that lock down the hardware. You can't get rid of it. Okay, Apple does the same thing. There's no reason that a fucking cell phone company can do that with a cell phone, and car manufacturers aren't doing that. Now, I know what Stellantis people are going to say, oh, they did that. They locked out the thing where you had to replace the entire thing where you can't program new keys. That's not an actual fucking solution. You need to lock down the software that you have to have the appropriate keys, like you have to have an appropriate key, meaning it has to come at a dealership or something. Which I know that sucks and people don't want to hear that because they're going to be paying through the nose, but it's about security, right? I understand that there's a freedom, security. If you own your car, you should also get the keys for you to be able to program your own keys if you want. You should be able to access that software from Stellantis or Chevy or whoever, okay? And that said, the only other people that should have that is not a locksmith. Fuck that. Sorry, I don't care. It should be the dealership. That's it. And box out all this other shit. It would literally drop auto theft by like 30 to 40% overnight. Push out a software update to everything else that's out there, because I've seen this other shit too where people will say, oh, it's not that easy. They can't do it. Yes, they can. If they can push a fucking ad to your Uconnect system in a Jeep, if they can push a fucking ad for OnStar in your GMC, yes, the fuck they can. They can push an update to your friggin' vehicle and lock that entire shit down. So please miss me with all that bullshit. So I'm glad that they cracked down on it. They indicted and arrested 15. They're still looking for like another 7 or 8 from the greater DC area and Prince George's County, that whole little area there, out DC and surrounding. And I think you're going to see more of it. Normally it's the states, and the city government, the city police, the state police that are going after these car thieves. Now the feds are taking an interest in it because they're seeing what's happening. I've known about this for 15 years. They literally put, like when I was in Boston and they were stealing cars, they'd go straight to Mass Maritime, straight to a container, boop, gone. And they weren't going to Africa. I guess that's where they're going now. They were going to the Middle East. People were stealing. Highest stolen thing in Boston at the time were box Chevys. And this is when box Chevys were still being sold. This isn't like old schools, okay? This was like box Chevy. They were stealing freaking police cars. They were stealing the Boston police cars and putting them shits on containers and sending them fucking things to the Middle East. That was funny. I don't think they'd get away with that today because I know they have better tracking systems on police cars, but oh man. But I just thought this was an interesting story, and it goes to, I will say this, I will give GM is getting no credit because their cars are getting to be easier to steal now than what Mopar cars were. That's just facts. Because now that the keys, now that the software, how it works is out there for General Motors and they haven't updated or patched or changed anything, all those Camaros, all those, what do you call them, ZL1s, all those Z06 Corvettes, all those C8s, all that shit is all at risk and can be stolen in literally 60 seconds with a fucking Android phone. So protect your shit. Put kill switches on your shit. Look, do I think someone's going to steal any of my M5s? No. Mate, they could. They could. They definitely could. And I had people all the time ask me, why don't you put kill switches or any of that other stuff in my Challenger, right? It's manual. My Challenger had 3 pedals. That was enough for nobody to steal my shit because a lot of people can't drive a stick. Just saying. But I'm taking the threat seriously, at least when it comes to my M5s, because I don't want somebody to just walk away with my cars. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that they can walk up, not have any key fob, use the touchless control on my door to unlock my car. And I'll show you the thing from Destroyer 1320, but I have a VIN block. I removed the VIN sticker off the back of my trunk, all behind my plate, all that shit on the BMW, because now, and BMW is not the only one that's subject to this. They can literally program a key with just your fucking VIN number. That is not cap. That is not BS. Just your VIN number, and they can take your car. That's insane. So I got a VIN blocker on mine when I'm parked. You know, if I'm out driving or whatever, you just pull it out. But yeah, I don't play no games about my cars. I protect them. I do everything I can do to protect my vehicles, whether they're Mopars or BMWs. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below about this story. If I have a clip from them, I'll probably add it in here when we close out. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Give the video a big thumbs up if you like what I do. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And as always, stay petty, my friends.
Morning, everybody. You're really tall. All right, everyone, good morning. We are here to announce a 15-count indictment handed up yesterday in federal district court involving an international auto theft ring. They don't need keys, and they don't need hot wiring. No smashed windows, no drama. Just a sleek electronic device called an AUTEL, A-U-T-E-L. And in under a minute, the car's brain is rewritten. The car is gone in 60 seconds. Welcome to the new world of car theft. In the dead of night, crews strike the streets in Washington, D.C., in Maryland, and in Pennsylvania. And in seconds, they reprogram Corvettes, Camaros, Honda Civics, and a Honda Civic, by the way, is the most popular stolen car in the country today. They end up reprogramming these cars to accept a blank key fob. And it's almost immediate while on the street. They literally disconnect the GPS and the Bluetooth. But this isn't joyriding. These are high-end vehicles that are then loaded on transport carriers headed to ports in Savannah and Baltimore, Maryland. But first, they are cooled off. They're cooled off where the plates are exchanged in one place on I Street in the Navy Yard, And in another place where they swap out the plates, curiously, a parking garage at a Marriott in Maryland. From there, they are loaded onto shipping containers that are labeled furniture as opposed to cars because there will not be as much scrutiny. And then the shipping containers are sent across the ocean to Africa, where they get top dollar on the black market. This is a sophisticated ring turning everyday cars into international cargo. The cars are gone in seconds. They are stripped of their tracking devices. They are cooled off where their plates are switched. They are transported and funneled to ports, and in sealed containers, they're shipped across the ocean to Africa, where demand is sky high and profits are enormous. In this indictment, we've identified over 20 cars with an estimated street value of just under $1 million. But law enforcement is continuing to investigate the fact that this ring may be involved in the theft of more than 100 vehicles in D.C. and more than 30 more vehicles in Prince George's County, Maryland, that is valued at up to $4 million. The individuals whose indictments have been unsealed at this point are Jacob Hernandez, David Kobe, Dustin Wetzel, Chance Clark, and James Young. The crimes that are involved are conspiracy to possess, sell, or transport a stolen vehicle, 18 U.S.C. 371. Possession, receipt, or storage of a stolen vehicle, 18 U.S.C. 2313. The interstate transportation of stolen vehicles, 18 U.S.C. 2312. And first-degree theft under the D.C. Code, aiding and abetting. And all of these vehicles, of course, are subject to forfeiture at the end. I'd like to now call on Mayor Muriel Bowser to get her comments on this.
Thank you, Judge. I want to thank Judge Pirro. I want to thank the men and women of the Metropolitan Police Department and all of our federal and regional law enforcement officials who have been involved in this investigation, these arrests, and we're looking forward to the prosecution of these crimes. And I want to thank our U.S. prosecutor, Jeanine Pirro, who has been dogged in Washington, D.C. in attacking violent crime, property crime, quality of life crimes that affect the residents and businesses of the District of Columbia. So I want to thank you for that, Judge. I also want to say that this problem of motor vehicle theft has been vexing, especially over the last couple of years where we have seen spikes in auto theft. And for even the several years before that, we have been very focused in the district on educating our neighbors, on encouraging anti-theft devices, on making sure that our neighbors and businesses are armed with cameras and that our police department is working in coordination with the region to make sure we are attacking these crimes. Just yesterday, the chief and I walked through a ward for a neighborhood where neighbors are concerned about auto vehicle break-ins and auto theft. So we know that when any type of crime happens, even a property crime, it affects people's peace and enjoyment of their homes, their neighborhoods, and their sense of public safety. So we know that this ring is attached to at least 100 car thefts in the district, and that these car thefts have happened over the course of many months, and our officers and detectives have been dogged in finding the perpetrators of these crimes. Motor vehicle thefts are already down 57% this year, and I hope that this means that we will continue to see steep declines. Most of these thefts happened more than a year ago, but our detectives kept at it even when the public's attention moved on. MPD is working to resolve these cases. Now we're here today, and that's also how we got to an 85% homicide closure rate last year. Our detectives, our federal partners, our crime lab, all working together to make sure we're taking perpetrators perpetrators off the streets. And we will continue to work to get all levels and all types of crime down in our city.
Indicated this is all about a joint collaboration between law enforcement agencies here, and the relationship that the U.S. Attorney's Office has with the Metropolitan Police Department is a terrific one. But there's one individual and one group that I neglected to mention, and that's my own investigators in the United States Attorney's Office, Matt Fox-Moles, who is with us here today. He and his team worked tirelessly on this as well. You know, these are big cases, and you heard from all of us that it doesn't take just one person. It can't. It is a collaboration. And we are so proud of the work that we do together, and we're proud of each other. Now, have any questions?
Yeah, Judge, so I just went on Amazon. I can pick this up for $500.
What? The Autel?
What's that? Yes.
Oh, great. Thanks for telling us.
So I was wondering, do you think that there's a need to have these devices regulated? There has been some effort around the country to that end, to try to have these only available to licensed locksmiths
Yeah.
and law enforcement.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. But if you have a device like this that plugs into the OBD2 in a vehicle, that you shouldn't have that unless you have a legitimate reason. If you're in the business of making sure that of registering cars or licensing cars or repairing cars, that's one thing. But to be able to buy this on your own, I think there definitely has to be some kind of legislation or registering.